see. So hope everyone's doing well this morning. And can you guys see and hear me okay?
Yes.
Great.
Yes.
Thank you. Good morning, guys.
Good
Um,
morning.
well, we'll wait for, there'll be a few more people dropping in. It's early, so I understand, but, I wanted to, um, get together with you guys and just demonstrate a couple things. And I'm going to record it, so I'll upload the video to the Canvas as well. But it's basically about how to get proportions and how to measure things in drawing. So, usually um, there's a lot of guesswork when you first start drawing and just sort of trying to figure out, the proportions of things and the dimensions of them, like height versus width and all that kind of stuff is really easy to figure out once you learn this thing called the sighting technique, which is a really old, low tech, but dependable way of using like a simple sort of your pencil or like this is like a teriyaki skewer, but it's basically an idea of kind of comparing the sizes of one thing to another. And quickly, I just wanted to show you um, and then just give a quick demonstration and then you guys can be on your way. But um, let me share the screen with you guys and show you quickly a couple of images. Let's see. So basically, since our next couple drawings are going to be still lives and they're going to be simple pencil, and we've been doing um, gesture drawings and very quick energetic drawings, and we're going to be doing more of that, but now we're going to start to actually look for proportions and measurements, and then figure out how to tool the drawing so that it's actually you have control over the dimensions of it. And how we do that is this thing called the sighting technique. And there's a little bit in the last module that I added at the end that talks about it. But basically, it's one of the things I like most about drawing is that it's so low tech and it hasn't changed in really 10,000 years in a lot of ways. So I love that about drawing, and this technique is really the only thing that takes getting used to about it is it requires kind of contorting yourself into an unusual position, like the students here. But it's incredibly simple, but it's basically, if you've ever seen someone drawing a figure or something, what they do is take a unit of the figure and compare it to the rest of it. So a person, they would say, is like 7 heads tall. Well, this is very much exactly the same thing, but it's doing it with just, still lives is what we'll be working with. And it's kind of taking, once you've drawn one object, it's sort of comparing that in size to the other objects you've drawn. So it's like that drawing here, it's like this object back here, that student figured, if you using this garlic as a measuring tool, this thing is 1, 2, 3.5 garlics tall. Um, so it's a very low tech but dependable way of figuring out how to get your drawings correct. And our homework, which I'll post as soon as we finish here, is going to be doing what I show you now, which is basically starting with a very fast gestural drawing that lightly of a still life that you guys will set up in your home, just a small 4 objects. But you're going to draw very quickly and intuitively, and not question yourself first. So just you'll be very gestural. Then what you'll do is you'll slow down, change pencils to a darker one, and start making corrections. So let me quickly just do a quick demonstration of what I mean by that. Let's see. Might take a second. Ah, good. Can you guys see the still life? Or hopefully you can hear me.
Yes, I could see it.
Okay, excellent. Thank you.
Yeah, we can see it too.
Good. So this little still life, you guys are going to be in, and I have it up on the canvas, or I'll put it up right after this, but you're going to set up just 4 simple household objects. And with our next series of still lives, you know, just simple volumetric round objects are great. So bowls, cups, a lot of stuff you have in your kitchen is going to work beautifully. Or like fruits, like, you know, apples, bananas, cantaloupes, all those are great. Things that are round or boxes are really going to be good for this. So, and this is the way we're going to be really doing many of the next several drawings. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start, and let me move you over to the drawing pad. So you'll notice also that I've just propped this drawing pad up on just a piece of masonite, basically. And it's just sort of this worn piece of masonite that's been sitting around. I'd suggest it's difficult because, you know, you guys have your own studio developed at home, but wherever possible, find like a board or something and get your drawing pad somewhere in your house where you can lean it upright and just prop it up. I have this cheap little easel here, but you can really just set it, you can really prop it up almost anywhere where it's leaning against the wall. I really, you know, recommend that. You can do it flat on the table, but it really is, you'll find it's a lot more comfortable, and you'll find it, you're able to get more range out of your drawing this way. But so on the first, this drawing for your homework, what you're going to do, and you'll do this in your sketchbook, is you're going to start and a very fast sketch. And I'm drawing the objects that are in front of me. And what I'm going to do is look for first the biggest object in the still life, which is this wine bottle. And I have lots of those around my house. And I'm not even questioning myself, or really, I you know, normally I'd have some music cranked up. I'm not overthinking it. And most of the time, my pencil really isn't much leaving the paper. It's either right above it, or it's you know, it's lightly touching. So for this first time, this first pass you're going to make, you're really going to kind of, you know, let yourself be loose, not worry about proportions, and just look constantly back and forth between the still life and your paper. And you can see, like, most, I'm just assuming, and I know that these are going to be corrected as soon as I have everything blocked in. And that is enough. And it's very faint. And that's what I'd like you guys to do. I'm using this as just a 2H pencil. So now what I have to figure out before I add any detail to this is what actually the actual dimensions of these are. So what I'm going to do is, let me turn you back over to the still life quickly. And with the sighting technique, what I'm doing is I'm holding in front of the camera now. You can use a pencil. I'm just using this little teriyaki skewer for barbecuing. So anything like that. And I'm going to start with the wine bottle I just drew, for example. And what I'm seeing is I'm using this as a measuring tool. And I'm going to compare, say, the width of it to the height of it. And I'm closing one eye, and I'm moving my thumb up so I have a unit of measure, and that's one width. And now I'm going to turn the skewer upright and try and measure roughly how many of those it takes to get to the top. and it's 1, 2, 3. I'm going to say it's about 4 roughly. So it would take 4 widths of that wine bottle to get to the top of it. And then another one I can compare and look at is just like the big coffee mug there. And and I'm going to do the same thing where I compare the height and the width of it. And what I'm seeing is I'm holding the top of the skewer up with the top edge of the cup, and I'm moving my thumb up. And now I have kind of that unit of measure. And now I'm going to turn and compare it to the width. And surprisingly, it's almost as wide as it is tall. So that's going to actually be really helpful. So quickly, what I'll do is I'll turn you back over to the drawing pad. And what I'm going to do is get a darker pencil. I'll just get a 2B pencil in this case. And what I'm going to do is go to that wine bottle, and I can see, like I noticed that this little light width I drew here, I'll hold that same skewer up here and find the width of it. And now I'll turn it, and here's the bottom. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4. So I know I need to make it slightly higher, but more or less it's pretty good. And so what I'll do now is, and actually this is something I recommend you do as well, is I'm going to draw sort of, sorry, I've had a lot of coffee, so my hands are going to be wobbly, but I'll draw a little axis line up. That'll help me keep it symmetrical. And I'm going to then get more definition into the sides. And I'll kind of work my way up. And I'm using that axis line to keep it symmetrical. And I'm kind of scooting it up towards where the proper measurement should be. And I'm working, gesturally from my shoulder and kind of working my way down. So with these sketches we're going to be doing, they're going to be very, they're not about detail or shadow. They're going to be about measurement and proportion. So now I can see that this cup, I noticed that it's about like it's as high as it is wide. So I'll look and see the width of it, and which is about here, and see how that compares. And so I know then that it needs to be bigger, so more in like this space. And what is helpful is sometimes to put these kind of organizational lines around it that help you get into more detail. So I know now that the bottom can be here, and it's sort of nice and round. So I'll make a gestural mark for that. And I know it comes up fairly straight. And then it has a very curving ellipse that is for the mouth of the cup. So now that cup feels pretty close to the proportions that it is. And then we have the handle. So this would be a good sort of start for finding these proportions. And another quick, and then you can start getting into more refining and getting closer to actually the appearance of the object. And also there's another really important measuring sighting technique measurement. And let me turn you quickly over again. And the other important thing is, how do these relate to each other in space? Meaning, how does this actually sit on the table next to the other objects? And a way to find that out is by I'm closing one eye again, and I'm going to line up the angle that I see that red box is, and I can see it's at about an angle, something like this. And what you do is then kind of try to hold that angle and carry it over and basically place it right up to the paper. And you've got then a good estimation of how that angle is in space. And that is really useful. It really takes so much guessing out of it. So I now know that if this line is about like here, I know this is going to be a nice, pretty straight vertical. And this top part, since it's pretty close, is going to be almost exactly the same width. The same angle as the bottom one. So then I can nicely construct this box this way. And I can also start looking at, I can do the same thing with the angle at the top, which is a more severe angle. And I'm closing one eye and extending my arm completely. And I can see that nice sharp angle there. And I'm going to try and hold that line and bring it over. So it's a pretty sharp angle. And that's just right, just what I need. And the other thing to remember is, and we'll get into more with this, but these anything like a box like these, most of the lines are going to be fairly parallel to each other. So, and then I can go in and find, when I look at the small cup in front of it, it actually is slightly in front of the wine bottle. So I know that this is in the wrong spot. So I'm going to move it up. And you can see why I was kind of stressing those ellipses I was talking about, because they really are just constantly appearing in not just these drawings, but I would recommend, there's figure drawing class that Chafee does that's really good with Pam Valfer. I'd highly recommend after this. But in figure drawing, these shapes are everywhere as well. So that would be sort of a good start with, and you'll notice like you would then go into more detail and get refined, get some of the lines a little sharper. But the important thing is when you're doing the your homework that you'll see up is don't erase anything, but rather leave these shadowy kind of underdrawing that you made, so that you have a kind of 2-part drawing. You have that the ghostly image that you did with a lighter pencil, where you just rapidly sketched it in. And then over that, you have the corrections you made in the darker pencil with the sighting technique. But let me transfer over. But so far, did you guys have any questions about that part so far, about the sighting technique? And you can also just type in, I have my chat open if you have any questions about the class as well. But excuse me, but there's also one thing I almost forgot that's important about the posture, and it seems minor, but it's really actually important. And I actually, something like this low-tech sighting technique that is essential really is the posture. And I constantly, because like I tend to slouch, so I always have to remind myself. And this part of drawing is almost more like sports than it is, or it's a mixture of art and sports. So it's like drawing is about, like I constantly mentioning, working from your big sort of ball joint up in the shoulder here. So you're able to get a nice motion, because this sort of hinge that your arm is really wants to make these kind of motions. So kind of almost get out of the way and let your arm make it. But when you're using the sighting technique, and it'll probably be easy for you guys because you're not in class, it's always awkward to kind of put yourself in these positions and close one eye. But remember, the important thing is you have to close one of your eyes. You need to be a cyclops for this, basically. So it flattens things out. So always remember, close one eye, whichever one, doesn't matter which one. And then the other really important thing is be comfortable, sit upright, and excuse me, extend your arm. And this is really important so that it's not like this, but it's pretty much locked forward, because this gives you a constant way of measuring. And then the other thing that's important is keeping this straight up and down as much as you can when you're measuring things, because the tendency is for if I'm making a measurement like this and then I'm looking down, you tend to want to kind of keep it the same angle, and then it's going to kind of alter your measuring. So the other thing to remember is, as you're kind of looking at different things, maybe higher or lower, is to make sure that this stick tries to stay as vertical as possible, or the pencil that you're using. Either one will be fine. But so that's kind of, that's something that you will perfect over the course of the semester. And if you can learn, really master that kind of measuring and sighting technique, it really will, profoundly improve your drawings more than really probably anything else, because it takes guessing out, and it's something concrete that you can really latch onto and measure. Let's see. But that's the main thing I wanted to talk with you guys about. But I always, with this sort of technique especially, it's always because all of you guys are going to process this in different ways. So don't get frustrated if it doesn't immediately click. That's totally natural. For many of us, it takes a while for this to kind of click in the back of your head. But once it's done, once it is, you'll be good to go. It'll be perfect. But the other thing that kind of sometimes you kind of get mistakes in is that, remember that it's about the sort of proportions of height to width mainly. So what you're measuring is like the still life, like in this cup here, is the ratio was sort of 1-to-1. So it'll look a little different. The measurement you make from the actual object will be different. Like when you come to here, it'll be larger, but it'll still be the same ratio. So things like that. It's yes, with yes, Levi, with homework and things like that, you can resubmit at any time during the semester. And I encourage you to do that if you have time. I think that's great. And also with late assignments, sometimes what happens is sometimes after the due date, it might lock, but I'm always more than happy to take late assignments, and I don't take points off. I'd rather have you do them than be kind of the not. So if anything's late and you have trouble uploading it, just email it to me directly, and I won't take points off for that. But I do encourage you, like, stay up on it, because we'll be constantly drawing, and it's just for your own sake, it's easier to keep it up, than rather at the end of the semester have like a snowball of drawings that you have to finish. But any other questions from you guys?
Yes. What about like when I go to check my grades through the through Canvas? Excuse me. A lot of stuff from like August and September and October is coming up as missing.
I apologize about that. Let me take a look at the Canvas. So,
I think that
Um,
last semester.
oh, sorry, it's coming up as last semester.
Yeah, because August,
Right, we
that was
weren't.
last semester.
Right.
Yeah.
Let me take a look at that. I'm, yeah, I didn't have that problem last semester, but this is something that's coming up. I'll take a look at the grade book, and there's a couple things I've like that. Um, what I'll do is when I enter grades in, like I did notice a couple um, yesterday came in as it marks it as late, but I'll go in and fix that so it doesn't read as late anymore.
Yeah,
Um,
this reading.
and
Sorry,
then
open it
some
again.
and then like some of them are from assignments that we didn't have, right? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, assignments
Okay.
we didn't have from
Yes.
that are dated from last semester, and I was like, wait. Oh,
Okay, that's
like even like it's like there's one from August 21st. It says quiz, drawing definitions and purposes, and I was like, wait, wait,
oh,
quiz?
oh, I'm sorry. Let me take a look at that. I think I apologize. Let me troubleshoot that this afternoon. So ignore that stuff. I apologize. I think it's because it's part of the assignments were transferred from last semester, and I think there's like a record of that. So I apologize. I'll fix that. So if any of you guys are getting that, just ignore it for now. Yeah, it is a glitch, and I'll go through and fix that today. And thank you for telling me, because I didn't actually know that part of it, that you guys are being assigned last semester's projects. So that's definitely yeah, I'll fix that today. The other thing is um, some Confer Zoom issues that I think some of you guys have been given appointments that you didn't make. So I apologize about that too. And again, I'll work on that today. So thank you for letting me know, because and please, like anytime that happens, let me know, because otherwise I just will be kind of in the dark about that. So I really appreciate that. So yeah, don't worry about working two semesters at once. Um, and I'll look through that today. Um, and for the first um, for Alondra, for the future Zoom meetings, I wanted to have another one next week. um, and for the particularly for the beginning of the semester, I would like to have, it's difficult because you guys all have busy schedules and they're all different, so it's a balance of getting you the information you need, and trying to balance everyone's schedule. So what I would like to do is have another one next week. It's just because in the beginning stages, there's a lot of um, techniques like the ones I was mentioning that you kind of need to be in person to get. So and what I'll try to do is work with everyone's schedule, and and in any event, I'm going to record all of them, so and I will post them on Canvas. So even if maybe you won't be able to make one, um, that the information will be there for you. And like I said, since this is an asynchronous class, you're not, you don't, like I said, your schedules are important. I understand, and family business. So I will work around you guys with that. But at the same time, it is important to touch base, regularly, even with an asynchronous class. So how about you guys? Any other questions?
Yeah, real quick on my end.
Yes.
So I ordered the materials for the class not yesterday, but last Thursday,
Yes.
and it took a week in the student store to process.
Oh,
So, I got like the okay, your order's been processed email yesterday after the student store closed.
yeah.
Um, So I'm gonna have to pick it up on Monday. Is it okay to do the assignments that are due over this weekend on like a 9x12 sketchpad? Because I have one of those.
Absolutely, yeah. In fact, like the department head was mentioning, because she's been working with the store, and it's been it's frustrating.
Yeah.
And she said, look, just plan the first 2 weeks at least that they may not be able to get, you guys might not be able to have them. So I built that in, and I'm assuming, so like any of these assignments can be on just, even printer paper, 8.5 by 11 printer paper works fine. And even just whatever pencils you have, because that's sort of out of your control with, as far as supplies go. So I'm going to build this, so that, at least till the middle of next week, many of you may not have supplies yet. So
Gotcha.
It was it was my experience with the student store that unless you receive the second email that says that it's ready to be picked up, they're not going to help you.
Yes.
Because I had the email that said processed, and I'd accidentally pulled that one up, and they're like, oh no, it's just processing. Like, you have to have the one that says it's ready. And I was like, wait. And then I scroll down, I'm like, here it is. It's just like, oh, like,
yeah.
I don't know. Like, so yeah, I was like, this is the right email. Wait, I know I pulled up the right email because at the bottom it says ready to get picked up at Rancho Campus. And yeah,
it takes some page. It's almost kind of,
it's two emails they send you. The first one says that it's being processed, that they got it. And the second one is the one when they tell you, okay, you can come pick it up.
Yeah.
and for those of you who it's being mailed to, they're not charging you for that, hopefully. For the ones that are being mailed.
I think they do charge shipping.
Oh, okay.
I remember that's why I was like, okay, I guess I'll go pick it up, because I was like,
And were you able to do it?
I don't want to like pay extra if I can just drive up a mountain.
Yeah, exactly. And I thought, I'm not sure, I thought they were doing like drive up or drive through too.
Yeah, there's the curbside pickup.
Good.
And they even give you the hours, from which hours to which hours you can go curbside pickup. So you can pull up, and then there'll just be a line of cars. So you just pull up like through the back of the bookstore, kind of
Oh yeah. Okay.
like by where the gym is in the sports center. You go up through the back, and then you can sit in your car, and you'll show them the email or give them the order number, and they'll bring out your stuff. If you're gonna get down and go pick it up in person, you do have to go by the temp check first.
Yes.
You have to walk up to the temp check and then back down to the car and then drive up, or just walk all the way up to the bookstore.
Wow.
The
Well,
bookstore itself, when I went, the bookstore itself was open, so you could go inside the bookstore, unlike last semester where you could not go inside the bookstore at all. You had to go through the little window.
well, it's for all of those reasons that, yeah, that's why and with this assignment, I was just doing the demo on a large piece of paper, just for visibility. But when you guys do, and I'll open it in the Canvas right after I'm done here, but for the sketchbook assignments, like for the next, there's 3 homework drawings that are, and they're 3 just on small pieces of paper or in your sketchbook, or like you were saying, a 9 by 12 sketchbook is fine. And so yeah, keep in mind, like I was just, the demo was just on the large piece of paper. So yeah, so it's curbside only now and online orders, Levi was saying. So I appreciate you guys, having to haggle, to get your supplies. So that's a headache, that unfortunately they'll have to go through, but we'll push through it soon. And you guys will have whatever you need, and we can move forward. I think starting probably, by the middle of next week or the end of next week, I'll anticipate that you guys will mostly be, in good shape as far as the supplies go. But like I mentioned also, I do want to have another one of these next week, and I'll put that up sooner so that you guys have, more notice about when it would be. It may be the same time as today's, but I'll kind of check through everyone else's schedule and see. But it seems like for you guys, this day is okay, hopefully. So maybe I'll just try at the same time, Friday morning. But I'll email everybody about that. So, but let's see. For this, do it on the sketchbook. Yes, I think it will be. It's interestingly, it's a different. Working in your sketchbook, you'll most likely have to work on it flat, and you'll be making much smaller gestures. But I think since you're going to be making three drawings, I think it'll be better in your sketchbook for these. And the thing is, like these are meant to be very sketchy drawings. So don't do any shading because we're going to get a lot into shading soon enough. And don't erase, but just use kind of line weights for now. But next week we'll be getting into like a more elaborate drawing, and because the sighting technique takes a while to get comfortable with, think of these next three drawings as your sketchbook drawings as practice for getting this under your belt, for the larger, more lengthy drawings that will take erasing and going back and for proportion and accuracy and those kind of things. So any other questions from you guys? Hopefully, are you guys having, are other classes having kind of weekly meetings, or is it kind of depend on the class?
I think it depends on the class because I haven't really had any meetings with the other classes.
Okay.
Same here.
Yeah, it's that's the tricky part, is sort of like, because the school knows, and I know, you guys have crazy schedules. So at the same time, it's sort of like, I feel like sometimes you guys are just in the dark without having any contact. So I will, but like I said, it's like these are not required, and I'm going to record them, so it's not affecting anything if you can't make them. It's just sort of I'm here if you need me, but I where possible, I definitely encourage it, because it's just for an activity like drawing, it's just simply easier or faster to sometimes do it in person. And like I said, you can also make confer Zoom appointments at any time. And I'm still actually kind of working that out, some technical difficulties with that. So absolutely, Levi, no problem. And so I will open the homework project on Canvas, and you guys can take a look at that. It won't be due till the middle or end of next week, but you guys can get it done before that, I'm sure. And I'll also be opening the third week's module in the next couple days, and you guys can start looking over that. So that was pretty much all I had to say. I just wanted to say hello to you guys, and just kind of approach this one technique. And so I'll send out some more information and open up the homework for the end of this week, in the next hour or so. Okay. So email me with any questions, and I'm always checking my emails, and I'll try to get back to you within 24 hours with any questions you guys have. So I hope you guys have a great rest of the day. And like I said, let me know any questions you have, and I'll get through grading in the next couple days for your latest assignments. So you guys have a good rest of the day, and I will talk to you guys soon. Okay.
Thank you. You
Thank
too,
you.
Professor.
All right. Bye, guys.
Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye.